Tell us about your education and work experience. What do you consider to be your strongest qualities? I confidently asked a woman who came to interview for a managerial position. Her expression instantly changed, like she just stepped into a pile of something unpleasant.
Is it day off in high school? Girl, please call the grown-ups. I'm here for work, not to entertain the little ones,
said the woman, looking at me with disdain. I'm sorry, but you're not the right person for us. You're free to go, I said and pointed to the door.
How dare you? I'm waiting for the CEO. She promised to see me personally.
The woman went on with a pompous attitude.
Miss Lemon is expecting me. I need to see her.
You've already seen her. I'm Miss Lemon. But as I said, you're free to go, I told her, once again pointing the rude lady to the door. Hello everyone, my name is Leslie, and what makes me unique is that at 30, I look 15, as if I've spent half my life in a freezer.
Girl, you have to give way to older people. You are young enough to stand,
I often hear in public transportation from random strangers. I hate it when people say that to me. Maybe I can, but after 8 hours of work, I really don't feel like it. So maybe you could kindly stand this time? I responded to all these shameless people. I think that possessing eternal youth is a dream of every woman, and wrinkles are the greatest fear of the entire female gender. What? I didn't have this on my forehead yesterday. Leslie, do you see that? I'm going to faint. My cousin, who's the same age as me, was talking in a terrified voice. Oh, I wish I had your problems. At least they'd let you in the club, and they won't let me in if I forget my ID again. I answered with a sigh. Ideally, every girl would have liked to stop aging at about the age of 25, but nature has played a cruel trick on me, and I got stuck at about 15 years old. That's when you're not a kid anymore, but you're not an adult yet. You're just in a very confusing and indistinct phase. I don't even know what the cause could be, whether it's a biological glitch, or the words of my mother who always said, "Honey, you should cherish and protect your youth." Great advice for Mom, but I think I overdid it a little bit. And you know, my eternal youth barely brings me any joy. When I was a high school graduate and I was still a normal girl, I was looking forward to the beginning of my adult life. Soon I'd be able to go to clubs, start driving a car, and earn my own money. That's what happiness is all about, isn't it? But I was in for a real bummer. Because to this day, the only way for me to go to clubs is to show my ID to a tough security guy. The security always examines them under a microscope, assuming it's fake. The car? Yeah, I bought one. But I had to sell it, because when I got it, every cop felt like it was their duty to stop me and check my license, wasting a lot of his and my precious time. And the other drivers? It's a nightmare. When they see me driving, they get really scared. They start filming me, telling me to stop immediately and return the car to my parents.
Hey girl, why'd you steal your daddy's car?
Other drivers shout through the open windows. What's the point of having a car if it's less comfortable than taking the bus? Then there's work, which is also worth mentioning. If you only knew how much time I had to work at the register in McDonald's before one firm took me seriously and gave me a chance. But that only applied to my boss. For everyone else, I was a kid for a long time. They refused to take me seriously, even those who were younger than me.
Kiddo, are you sure you can process these documents?
A colleague of my age asked me. I'm not a little girl, and yes, I'm sure I can do it, I answered her irritably. Of course, with my looks, I couldn't even dream of having a personal life, because I only attract teenage boys, even when I was already almost 30 years old. Do you want to go to an amusement park tonight? Sometimes I get asked by very young boys. At my age, that kind of fun is deadly. It could end in a heart attack or stained pants. But 15 years ago, I would have said yes without a second thought. I would answer sarcastically. Well, what else can I say? I'm not going to explain to the boys that I'm a grown-up lady, and inviting me to places like this is at least inappropriate. But everything changed when Robert came to work at our firm. He was a very young guy, about 18 years old. He was a part-time courier, working after school, I think. Everyone began to treat him somewhat disrespectfully, much like me. But Robert didn't pay any attention. He was always on the positive side, just doing his job.
Hey boy, come here. Make me a coffee. Be nice,
some snarky lady in our office told him.
Okay, lady, would you like it with a purgative or with some sour milk?
Robert replied without the slightest change in his facial expression. which put the rude woman in a very awkward position. And the whole office laughed at her for a long time. I watched his behavior and admired his ability to act with dignity in any situation. His level of maturity and intelligence was clearly above that of his peers, and I respected that. However, our communication seemed to fall short, and every attempt at dialogue on my part was a failure. Nice sneakers! I saw the exact same ones on sale at the knockoff store. You bought them there, didn't you? Trying to catch the teenage vibe, I told Robert. But instead, he looked at me like I was an idiot and disappeared into the distance. I guess I screwed up and hurt his feelings. Please don't tell me that this is not how you start a conversation, because I wouldn't understand anyways. I was born in the last century. But despite his strange behavior towards me, I still liked Robert. I love strong personalities with a sense of humor who can take a punch. And in my eyes, that's exactly what Robert was. That's why I wanted to start interacting with him, so that we could support each other wherever possible. However, later on, I realized that he wasn't at all the person I thought he was. My perception of Robert changed 180 degrees. After a lunchtime, he made a comment.
You better eat more, or you'll never grow up. And at 30, you'll look 15.
Oh my gosh. What's the matter? Him too? Stupid little prick. And I thought he was normal. Look at yourself, you little brat. Who do you think you are? You should, I thought to myself, but held back and didn't say it out loud. After all, I'm a grown woman and I shouldn't be fighting with teenagers. From that moment on, I stopped noticing Robert, so as not to waste my nerves on him. Meanwhile, my boss told me that I'd been named the most productive employee of the company at the end of the year and gave me a hefty bonus.
He just felt sorry for her. She's just a little girl. How can she be productive?
Grumbled my colleagues. And for the first time, I didn't care what they thought, because I knew I mattered, no matter what they thought of me. That day, I let myself spend most of my money on cool clothes and totally unnecessary stuff. And then I decided to go visit my former classmate and good friend, Megan. We always had a lot to talk about, so I knew the address of her house pretty well. Perfect timing. The guys will be here soon, and we're going to have a blast, Megan said excitedly. Wow, so we can all celebrate my bonus together. I echoed my friend's enthusiasm. About a half an hour later, the doorbell rang. Megan's friends were here, 2 guys and a girl.
What's that little girl doing here?
I heard a familiar voice. Oh crap, it was Robert, and he was talking about me. Look at you, you jerk, I said to him defiantly, so I wouldn't lose face in front of my friend. Hey, little ones, both of you calm down, Megan commanded. I don't get it. What was that? Do you two know each other?
Megan, this little girl works at our firm. Anyway, her mom will get mad at her for not being home yet. It's 9 p.m. She should go.
My colleague continued to sass me. Where did he get so much hatred? Is he somebody's little brother? Take the bratty child back to his mother, or else, I responded angrily. In that moment, I was so ready to destroy that spoiled brat. Take it easy, both of you, 30-year-old dummies. You're the same age, if you haven't realized it by now. And I forbid you to act like this in my house. Do you understand? Megan said sternly. That's when my mind went completely haywire, and I risked going crazy from what I just heard. Luckily, Megan explained everything, preventing me from losing my mind. She told everyone that I was her classmate, and Robert was a former college classmate of hers. And yes, we are the same age, also born on the same day.
You're very well preserved for your age. I think we misunderstood each other a little from the beginning,
Robert muttered after hearing all about it. Well, you look about 15 years younger than your age too, I replied. Fortunately, since then, my relationship with Robert has gotten better, and we finally started talking to each other. After all, we had so much in common. It would be silly to stay away from each other.
Look at that. 2 misfits found each other.
Our colleagues laughed at us. But Robert and I felt so comfortable around each other that we simply didn't pay any attention. A little more time passed, and as it happens in romance comedies, Robert and I started dating. There was just no chance our story would have gone any other way, you know.
You're so magical and unreal. That's all I can say about you,
Robert used to tell me. And you're wacky and funny, so I just adore you, I flirtatiously answered him. And now imagine the surprise of our colleagues when I was suddenly promoted to CEO.
That's absurd. A child cannot run a company.
My colleagues were outraged, and many of them had to resign because they couldn't accept my appointment. But now, we have no idiots, no slackers, no dummies, and no lazy bones left. Robert is now my vice president, and we have a great team together.
What's going on here? What is this? A students' club?
Our clients and partners are often perplexed when they come to our office. But this doesn't stop us from being the best in the business. It turns out that not being taken seriously can help one build a successful career and personal life. You just have to be brave and patient and not let society break you down, just because you're not like them. Does your attitude towards a person depend on their appearance?
Share this podcast to all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and so on, and you'll be given a shout out. Also drop your social media username so that we can find you. Thanks for your support. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the link in this episode description. You should also please follow or subscribe to our other podcast, My Animated Story, by clicking on this episode description. And also, kindly please rate and review this podcast. Bye.